Salute. Knicks streets. We're buzzing. The Knicks get back-to-back dubs. Absolute domination. A dismantling of the Charlotte Hornets, man, on the road. And the Knicks get their third road win. But most importantly, man, it was straightforward. Wire to wire as Josh Hart. Standout performance, man. Shooting hot. As of late, we'll go through his numbers of November, man, with Hart shooting over 43%, man. Jalen Brunson delivered a masterclass in this one and a domination as well. We'll give out the game ball, shout you guys out. We'll look at who got the defensive player of the game. And of course, we have to look at the NBA Cup standings, man, because the New York Knicks ran up the score in this one. And I think the equation is quite simple. Beat Milwaukee on Friday, and we should go through to the knockout round of the NBA Cup. The Miami Heat are lurking. They're hanging around. So points difference could be key, but there is the wild card spot as well. We had a major result around the league today as the Detroit Pistons lost their the 13-game win streak was busted by the Boston Celtics as well. So we'll take a look at that. They have half the losses that the Knicks have now, and the path could be opening up for the Knicks to get that top spot. Fam, welcome in to the post-game live with CT on Knicks Buzz. The chat is absolutely buzzing right now. We have our poll. What impressed you the most today? Option number 1, Hart shooting hot since getting with the shooting coach. That's right. If you have not heard, Hart got with the new shooting coach, and as of now, he's shooting 43% in November on almost 4 attempts as well. So dealing with adversity, hey, that's the name of the game when it comes to Josh Hart. He's no stranger to danger, and he had the issues with the splint, but he's got right now, well and truly. Right, let's hope he can keep it up. Option number 2 is the Kolek solid minutes. Right, we continue to see some action from Tyler Kolek, and he's taking his chance, fam. Only a 9-man rotation tonight. Right, we have an injury update on Landry Shamet for y'all as well. Some good news coming through is that Landry Shamet, well, whilst the injury is there, it's a strained shoulder, reevaluated in 4 weeks, right? So the season ain't done with Landry Shamet, right? He'll come back in the new year at some point, fam. So bless up the injury gods heard our prayers too. Chris Gotti, buzzer beater, Johnny Chiba in the house. Let's go. Option number 3 in the poll is Macau's lockdown defense, man. Mikal Bridges has been sensational. He's so locked in. I see him, coaching up teammates as well. Fam, as we have Westchester Knicks in action tonight, Dink Pate and Trey Jemison getting busy too. Going to bring you some highlights here as you see Dink Pate taking it coast to coast to the rack and are showing off his handling abilities too. And Trey Jemison taking it coast to coast, the big man getting up and down. So are we going to see some more depth pieces throughout the season, right? Definitely. Mike Brown more open to playing some more guys, and he did clear the bench today with about 3 minutes remaining. The Knicks, the result was never in doubt. But yeah, I do think that obviously with OG out, Mitch came off the bench tonight, and obviously Landry out for 4 weeks. Some minutes are up for grabs, guys. Let us know in the chat. Who do you think should grab more of these minutes? Right now, it's a big tick next to Tyler Kolek's name, in my opinion, man. We needed another ball handler, and he's definitely taken those chances. And tonight's last option in the poll is we didn't play around with our food, and that is leading at 62%, man. Some of y'all got great memories, man. Last season, we struggled in some of these games, right? Banana peel, booby trap games, and the New York Knicks came out so aggressive today. They wanted to end this one early, right? Or bring you up to speed with Westchester too, as Dink Pate does the nice little spin move. But man, back to today's game, Hart was sensational, absolutely dominant in terms of scoring. Now, the Knicks didn't get a whole lot of scoring out of their bench, right? The starters were on fire tonight. But obviously, today's starters and the grades, the game ball, first and foremost, I'm going to give it to Jalen Brunson because he scored effortlessly tonight, and they didn't play with their food, as the chat's saying. Prezi the boss is in the building. Chris Connors, salute. Michael says that was the most awesome game. We didn't play with our food. Yep. Last year, I think, obviously the Charlotte Hornets are still looking like they're lottery bound, man. LaMelo Ball just could not get going in this one, and he was making it easier for us. As we take a look in the spotlight, Hart shooting, right? Is this a real thing, right? It ain't a small sample. Now, it ain't long enough. We want to see more of it. But if Hart can continue to knock down that three, then my God, does that change the landscape, fam? I'm dreaming, I'm hoping that it'll continue. But 43% of the month of November on almost 4 attempts, something clearly is clicked, right? And he said he's got with the shooting coach, and hopefully it'll, continue to pay off, fam. As I pull the highlight up, Josh Hart, look how smooth this J looks. It definitely looks a lot more clean, fam. We haven't set up our call-in yet, man, but stay tuned. It's definitely in the works. I don't have the tech set up at the moment, but yeah, appreciate everyone coming through, and we shout you guys out. And stay tuned later in the season, because I do want to set up the call-in situation, man, and hear from you guys, in the flesh. Look, 2 wins against 2 bad opponents, right? The real test is going to come on Friday. And it's a great note to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving, man, for tonight, for tomorrow as well, for everyone in the States. And obviously, the Knicks won't be playing. No action tomorrow, man. It's a time to reflect and be grateful and give thanks to what we have. And thankfully, the New York Knicks are now 11-6. This season's getting real spicy, right? We have Boston really gritted out today to give Detroit their 3rd L on the season, right? And I feel like the Knicks are just creeping under that radar, man. Like, I want us to be top billing and favorites, right? And I want us to play like that. But it ain't bad with the spotlight going on some of these other teams, right? Everyone's starting to big up Detroit to the point where the pressure might get to them, right? Everyone's starting to big up the Toronto Raptors, 8 straight, where the point is, okay, let them take some of the heat off of the New York Knicks, right now. Let them feel the heat. And the Knicks are just, going about their business. And we're going to see who won the defensive player. But Hart won last game. I do think Mikal Bridges will probably get the defensive player of the game. This was a great feed from Tyler Kolek, man. And I think Tyler Kolek looks like he turned the corner. He looks so much more comfortable. You can just see it with your eyes. Head is up, playing quick, playing more active on the defensive side. I mean, Tyler Kolek's defense, right? Whilst he's not a plus defender by no stretch, he definitely looks like he's more active and, made improvements. So, slow and steady. And he's taken his chance. You see a lot of a first-round kind of pick talent with Tyler Kolek. And look, it's not going to happen overnight. It's only his 2nd season in the league. But if he can take a step and become a rotation player for the New York Knicks, well, he is right now, and I guess that is the best credit for Tyler Kolek. He's taken that chance. LaMelo Ball, fam, was, not on tonight. He did not care. It says Johnny Chiba. It's tough playing with a really bad team. Gray's New York City salute says, happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Knicks handle business tonight. Yeah. They wanted to enjoy their turkey tomorrow and their time with their family. Hart going to enjoy his Mike and Ike's, and Brunson going to chill with the fam as well. Everyone going to be enjoying tomorrow, man. It's going to taste a lot more sweet, no doubt. But yeah, really looking forward to Friday night. That's what it's all about. Jaylen Brown gritted it out, put the Celtics on his back with Derek White, right? But in case y'all missed it, Cade Cunningham, he choked, right? Down 3, went to the line, got a lucky call, flailing a 3, they gave him the continuation, basically. The three free throw attempts. He hit the first 2, and then he choked for the final one, man. And Celtics hold on, too. So that is very interesting how that's going to play out with the Detroit Pistons dealing with a lot more pressure. But now, let's pull up the stats and the box score tonight. Brunson with the game ball. I do think Bridges will get defensive player, but a comfort belt to ass, wire-to-wire victory. And the Knicks won 64 points in the paint to Charlotte's 40. Too. I like the emphasis of taking it to the rack, especially with Jordan Clarkson. You know, Jordan Clarkson's shooting over 70% at the paint. And he's definitely looking comfortable on those drives. Karl Anthony Towns was absolutely bullying those guys down low in the paint. The Knicks got 25 dimes. 129 as well. One of the best offensive teams in the league put on one of the best offensive performances tonight. 12 steals. Really active in the passing lanes. And guys getting into it with 20 fast break points as well, guys. So smash that like button. We're definitely buzzing. And let's take a look at the box score as every single player, right? We don't see this very often, but every single player tonight was in the plus, with Mikal Bridges, plus 23. Miles Deuce McBride got the start. He was team high, plus 27. And a perfect 5 of 5 from downtown, man. Deuce's shot looks so wet right now, man. It looks more wet than Niagara Falls, fam. How do y'all feel about Deuce McBride's offensive performance, man? 5 of 5 from downtown, 6 of 8. He's got that beautiful rainbow arc that was fallen down. And Brunson finished 14 of 28 with just 33 points in 33 minutes. Huge offensive night from our guys. Johnny Chiba says Colex D was substantial enough to warrant minutes because his dimes are golden. Yeah, it's bordering on above substantial right now. He was definitely making it hard for the defense, especially on LaMelo. He was giving good effort on Sexton, and he was definitely taking some contact and not being pushed back. That's what I've noticed from the last game, is that Kolek looks a lot stronger. Now, some more of the downer situations coming out of this one. Look, Yabusele just can't get going. No points. Was still a +7 though. Mitchell Robinson, no points. And but obviously the 7 points and the 8 points from Clarkson and Kolek was a big factor in this one. Kolek just looks so comfortable looking for his shot. And you hear Clyde really coaching Tyler Kolek up. You could feel like Clyde really wants Kolek to take this chance, don't you? You can just kind of feel Clyde like, look for your shot, Kolek, look for your shot. And that is exactly what he's kind of doing right now. But he's so unselfish, too, with the assists. Despite the injuries, Mike Brown used the 5-out lineup to perfection. Yes, it was against the Hornets, but games like this, where they choke these leads last year, is such a breath of fresh air as well. Yep, says Michael. YouTube switched up everyone's user tag as well, but I think that's my guy Yuri. But yeah, it's great to have everyone with us. I think, you look, Mike Brown, he's come out of the start of the season looking good. Tweak some things. Obviously, the offense is our identity right now. Defensively, we have to get a lot better. and that's where the tests are really going to come. But I really feel like, at the bare minimum, when we fired Tibbs, guys, and we appointed a new coach, which eventually became Mike Brown. For me, the bare minimum was that we position ourselves to become more dangerous come the playoffs, and I think that's what we're doing, because we're playing Brunson less minutes, we're playing more guys. Obviously, the bench is slightly better with Clarkson up in here over last season's bench. And obviously, if Yabusele and Kolek can get going, that'll really help us a lot. But I think at the bare minimum, we get to the playoffs, with more chemistry and looking like guys are more fresh. Hart playing a hell of a lot less minutes this season without Tibbs, and that could be the biggest X factor. Fam, is it early to suggest that Josh Hart is that X factor, man, potentially heading into the second half of the season? Because first half of the season, it's kind of been, up and down like a seesaw. But if we're getting this version of Josh Hart when it does come to the playoffs, and then, here's like another six man, well, let's call it like it is. Hart can start, but he's probably best off the bench, but he can close games out. And Deuce McBride's kind of been the six man as well. It doesn't hurt to have a couple of six men as well, which will help our chances. And obviously, we know Jordan Clarkson has also won the six man in the past too. But Josh Hart's just playing absolutely phenomenal basketball right now. And so, yeah, let's quickly hit on the Landry Shamet situation. So, came out from Shams today. How do y'all feel about this? Right, there is optimism that Landry Shamet can rehab the shoulder and avoid surgery. Sources said Shamet has right shoulder sprain and is currently rehabbing. All things considered, seems to be good news, right? And the Knicks basically, looking like they'll keep Shamet on the roster right now, so he'll rehab for 4 weeks and be reevaluated, right? And the Knicks won't entertain waiving Landry Shamet because they'll still be obligated to pay his salary while he's hurt, reports Ian Begley. And so that is important to note, right? As I pull up the Knicks account, they haven't announced the defensive player of the game just yet. So we'll wait for that. But I do think Mikal Bridges would have got this one in the bag tonight with his performance, right? I can't wait for Friday's game, fam. But Sunday's game against the Raptors, as Buzzer Beater says, can't wait. Johnny Chiba says, I think Kolek heard Clyde and took it to the hoop 3 times to end the game. You're right, fam. AP's in the building. AP, you haven't been as impressed lately. Let us know how you feel about this one. But look, Milwaukee are struggling. They were, 8-10 coming into tonight. And now they looks like they're 8-11 after losing to the Miami Heat. Right, so I'm going to bring up the action from around the league. And let's take a look at the NBA Cup standing situation as well. And continue to shout you guys out. Man, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and join the buzz, right? The second half of this season is going to be wild right now. And the Knicks depth pieces are starting to stand up with Hart, Clarkson, Kolek, and Deuce McBride. Mitch coming off the bench, so that they are keeping him fresh too, with some load management, right? Looks like the Pacers and the Raptors, man. I'm looking at that one closely. We'll take a look at that. With 3 minutes 50 remaining, the Raptors are up 91-90. The Heat had the narrow victory as well. We know the Heat fans are starting to talk more smack. And let's see how they progress, right? With Tyler Hero coming back later in the season. But yeah, the Heat are in the top 3 spot right now. We'll take a look at the standings. Really impressive win by the Celtics. Now they are towards the bottom of the play-in scenario, but it's just good to humble the Detroit Pistons, fam. 13 in a row is their franchise record right now. We can't have them surpassing that, fam. AP says, I'll take whatever I can get, CT, but I need to see this against good teams. And I think first quarter of the season, guys, and you got to take the whole league with a grain of salt. That's teams doing well, teams not doing well. It's just way too early in the season to come up with any, drastic conclusions, right? We have a brand new coach, don't forget, and we have a new system, and we have quite a few new players as well as, some of these other teams. What I'm really looking at now is the consistency. Can we continue to pummel and decimate these bad teams with ease and not struggle against them? But also, obviously, against some of these, quote unquote contenders or pretenders in the East. And I do think, it's still early to come up with conclusions over, who's legit, who is not. As in the NBA Cup standings, right? We'll take a look at that secondary, but let's get the main standings up first, and the New York Knicks move up ahead of the Cleveland Cavaliers, right? So I always look at the loss column, guys. You want to avoid taking any losses, and so that with the games coming up, hopefully we can add to the win column. But we're only on 6 losses, so that keeps us locked in with potential to surpass the Miami Heat, who they currently have 2 more wins at 13-6, with the Knicks at 11-6, right? So if we can get 2 gritty wins against the Bucks and against the Raptors on Sunday, we'll be right there with the chance to overtake the Miami Heat. Fam, salute to Dermot in the building. Buzzer Beater says, CT, what is a fair sample size then, 20 or 30 games? I think more towards the 25, 30 for me, personally, fam. Again, because, it's a new season, new coach, some new players, but also we're dealing with injuries, fam. What do we play now? 5 or 6 without OG Anunoby? Mitchell Robinson barely plays. We are playing some new players in the rotation with Diawara, Hukporti, who unfortunately didn't get many minutes tonight, but Kolek and Clarkson, new in the rotation. Looks like we have a brand new player wearing number 3, Josh Hart. Now, whatever he was dealing with earlier in the season, maybe he ain't dealing with that no more in terms of, coming to grips with the, the hand injury and the splint and rediscovering the, tweaking the shooting form. So there's just so many probabilities and possibilities still to open up. But I do think, fam, 25 games is a good sample, which, if we take a look at the schedule, there's some real tough games. But we will learn a lot after Milwaukee, Toronto, Boston, Charlotte, Utah, Orlando. So that'll take us to 25, roughly, fam. Demario, salute, says, go Knicks. 2 in a row, I'll take it. But the way they played, and basically took the life out of Charlotte was exactly what we want to see. For that's a championship contender level performance. Michael says this was the starting lineup that I wanted to see under Tibbs for so long now. It was such a breath of fresh air. So yeah, we had Hart and we had Deuce McBride get in there. I still want to see Mitch start together with Deuce McBride before OG eventually comes back. But yeah, a lot of guys are big fans of the 5-out look. If Hart's shooting like he is, that's close to a 5-out look as well. Is Yabu salvageable? Yeah, so great question. I was thinking about that yesterday. I know a lot of people are giving up on Yabusele. I'm not in that boat yet. I do think a guy like Yabusele, is helpful because he's got skills. I think he's down on form right now, but Yabusele's got some skills, and I do think he just needs to find his way into playing shape to play better. He's got more skills off the dribble. Defensively, he ain't that strong, but he's got the rebounding opportunities with his size. 4 rebounds tonight, +7 in 12 minutes. Whatever it is with the offense, fam, I think he just needs to find his way in this offense, and the shot hopefully can come along. But yeah, I'm not giving up on Yabusele just yet. But the good thing is we have some time up until before December and after December and before January, fam. Before the trade season hits, he might be a name where, in conversations with some other teams, there might be some other pieces that we look at getting. But I do think it should be a like-for-like kind of swap. We do need size, and I wouldn't give up Yabusele just yet. A guy who could guard 3s, 4s, 5s, I think is what this team needs on the defensive end. There could be some intriguing names out there. Like I said, I think Yabusele's got some skills. He's out of shape. There's no other way to say it. He's looking heavy out there. But I think if he can shed 15 pounds, right, well, he needs to be real serious about it. And I think he can play a lot better. I did like the signing at the time. It was only $5 million. But worst case scenario, he doesn't come good, we can flip him. I think we can flip him, and we might need to add throw in one of the younger guys and a pick swap. We might be able to add another wing. Hopefully that's coming through. So let's take a look at the grades, and then basically the NBA Cup standing situation, guys, is the Knicks beat the Milwaukee Bucks, and their points differential will go down. Obviously, our points differential will go up, and we will surpass the Milwaukee Bucks, right? Depending on the margin and that kind of thing. But yeah, Brunson gets the savage performance and a whole lot of standouts from the starting unit. And I'm going to give the bench guys a solid because, look, we did not even look like losing this ball game, right? Everyone played together as a team, as a unit. They played at a great pace in this one, a real frenetic pace. Daniel Berry, salute, says happy Wednesday. Guys, good night overall. Detroit took their loss, so they're on 3 losses now. Raptors are on 5. If we beat them, we can hand the Raptors their 6th loss on Sunday night. Now, I do think the Raptors will play, they'll play somebody before Sunday, right? So we play Friday. We'll play the Bucks. Everyone's off tomorrow. Let's take a look. Yeah, so Friday night, do the Raptors? No, the Raptors don't play. The Raptors don't play on Friday night. So yeah, we'll have the chance. They do play, actually, they play on Saturday night. They play on Saturday, the first half of a back-to-back. Okay. They'll play the Hornets, though, so it's most likely that they'll take care of business, right? So yeah, I do think it looks like the Knicks will have that opportunity to give the Raptors their 6th loss. And that will mean that there'll be a huge swing. Let's say the Knicks do beat the Bucks. We'll go 12-6, and then we'll have the opportunity to give the Raptors their 6th loss, and we'll have the opportunity to get our 13th win. So, man, I'm looking forward to it even more. Actually, yeah, it does look like the Raptors just beat the Pacers. Appreciate the update on that. Okay, so the Raptors just got their 14th win, right? But nevertheless, that game on Sunday is a real swing towards the Knicks getting that 3rd and 2nd spot, especially when we hopefully beat Milwaukee, man, on Friday. And I think these guys want to do it for the squad. The NBA Cup bread, $500,000, right, will be great for some of these lesser paid players. The Deuce McBrides, the Trey Jemisons of the world, the Tyler Koleks, the Muhammad Diawaras, man. $500K for some of these guys is their whole salary. And for the two-way guys. For the other guys, it's about half their salary in the way of Diawara. For guys like Deuce McBride and Yarbul Sele, it's about 1/8 of their whole annual salary. So, but obviously winning means grinning, and we want to get to Vegas, get some momentum, win something, lift a trophy as well as we build that momentum for the second half of the season. Now, how did y'all feel about Cat's performance in this one, right? Cat's still drawing some criticism, but I thought to his credit, he has cut back on some of the complaining and the hook offensive fouls. Is this Mike Brown getting through and coaching up Cat? I need to see more of it. But I do like Cat playing closer to the basket, man. I'm not going to lie. I do think that can open up the perimeter game, fam, rather than vice versa. Right. What I've been seeing lately, before, the recent stretch, is that Cat obviously been, taking a lot of deep shots. And I really like Karl Anthony Towns getting closer to the basket first, and then moving back out on the perimeter for those opportunities, as the defense will obviously tighten up and you get those opportunities on the perimeter. Cat finished 6 of 13, missed all of his threes, but 7 of 7 from the free throw line with 4 offensive rebounds, 10 total, and got 3 assists, 19 points, plus 6 with only 2 fouls, ladies and gentlemen. So that's what you want to see when it comes to Karl Anthony Towns, playing more disciplined, right? The 2 personal fouls, right? Let's take a look at the update from the Knicks account. And have they given out the Tims and the vest? Looks like they have not just yet. Yeah, let's take a look at the Josh Hart highlight package too, because outside of Cat, McCall, Brunson, and Hart were the bigger standouts, right, in this one. Hart, he made some interesting quotes post-game last game. He said, it feels closer to last season back in that starting role. And I think Hart's trying to prove a point, right? I'm not going to lie. Reading the body language and the quotes from Hart, he feels like, hey, I'm getting this opportunity to start again, and I just want to remind everybody that I can be a starter, right? Had his ups and downs, obviously, in the playoffs, especially that Indiana series late, where it just all went to crap late in the starting lineup. I think he lost confidence from Tibbs just overplaying him. But look, we've all seen Hart on his best days, and he is capable of starting, right? Obviously, for spacing reasons and other things, we've made some tweaks. But when he's shooting the basketball like this, I think Hart is definitely reminding everyone of what he is capable of, right? At some points last season was dubbed the best role player in the league, right? That doesn't go away overnight, right? If you're dubbed the best role player in the league, then you can definitely, contribute on a title contending team, fam. So we got our 3rd win on the road, and we are back at MSG on Friday night. And let's see what happens as we face the Bucks, right? The reeling Bucks. Because the Milwaukee Bucks now, guys, they are in 11th spot, right? They've got about 4 or 5 games on the 12th Charlotte Hornets. However, Giannis can't be happy at 8 and 11. That's despicable, right? The Bucks started pretty decent, right? They were chirping and yapping, and people were talking about, look, the Bucks could be something this season, right? And they've fallen back down to 11th at 8 and 11. So is that early trade talk going to heat up? Are frustrations going to boil over in Milwaukee, right? If the Knicks beat them on Friday night, they'll move to 8 and 12, 4 games below 500, stuck out of the play-in in 11th spot, right? With nowhere to run, nowhere to hide as well. So that is going to be an absolute huge game when it comes to it. And I think the crowd on Friday night Knicks is going to be absolutely on fire. Um, yeah, good win. Don't care if it's the Hornets. Yeah, you just got to pummel these teams that are inferior, and that's exactly what we did. Don't forget it's on the road too. These games can get tricky on the road. I mean, the Hornets are still stacking young talent. They're in that rebuild process, but how many years into it with LaMelo Ball, right? I was not impressed by LaMelo Ball tonight, man. I still hear some Knicks fans talk about him as a potential option. Now, is a little bit that he's playing on a bad team and he might raise his level on a better team. That's possible. Um, but the salary he's on, um, the amount of salary cap he would take up, and just the chemistry standpoint, LaMelo's a very ball dominant kind of player. How can you play him together with Jalen Brunson? The 3-point shot still looks a bit wacky. It's a no thanks. It's a major no thanks for me, especially on a team we're trying to build with a championship contender, right? And especially with more experienced veteran guys in that locker room. I'd make way for Deuce McBride, in terms of being able to pay him a major salary compared to LaMelo Ball. I mean, less ball dominant, very efficient, catch and shoot. Great offensive spark. Deuce McBride, 5 of 5 from downtown tonight, man. He outplayed LaMelo Ball. Let's call it a buck. Salute to Tony in Denver. Great to have you with us. Buzzer Beater says the Hornets are always in rebuild mode. I think they've got their coaching appointment right. Charles Lee looks like he's building up that culture, and I think they've just got to keep dipping into that draft. It ain't going to happen overnight. It takes a while. Orlando, Detroit, they were in the crap for almost a decade. Detroit even longer. AP says the thing is, CT, I don't think the Miami Heat are better than us. I don't think the Raptors are better than us. I don't even think the Pistons are better than us. That is why I'm disappointed. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. The Knicks just haven't really quite played up to their billing just yet. But what I'm saying is it's early. There's no reason to feel less confident because things are just so early right now. And, it's a marathon, not a sprint. We are building up our play, our chemistry as the season goes. You don't want to start the season like it's the finish line. You got to build up because it's 82 games and you want to be peaking as you get to that finish line. And I do think we are battling and building chemistry through adversity. We're learning to play without a couple of major guys, without OG, without Landry Shamet now. And look, at the very least, I do think we are a better team than last season, at this point last season. And dare I say, even last season's playoff team. This team that I watched tonight, I think, is a better team than the team I saw in the playoffs. Taking into account that this wasn't a playoff team we were playing. But I just think from a roster standpoint, we are more, versatile. Jordan Clarkson adds a lot. Deuce McBride's come away. Hart looks better than he did in the playoffs right now. Kolek looks like he can play meaningful minutes. Mitchell Robinson quite ain't up to speed yet. And that's something that I really need to see happen. Obviously, I need to see OG Anunoby get back. But if I bring up the roster, I just think we are deeper right now. Like Clarkson's an upgrade over Payne and DeLon Wright. We are going to get Shamet back, it does look like, at some point. And he was playing out of his skin. Huck Porty's a guy that looks like he's developed a bit further. We ain't seeing much from Dardier, unfortunately. But Diawara is a guy that we didn't have last season. I think at the very least, he's a guy capable of giving us some spot minutes, Hopefully by the time the playoffs come around, a guy like a Diawara is capable of giving 10 solid minutes, 8 solid minutes, and that, he ain't shook New York City Grey says Hart can play on my Knicks team in any era. Yeah, you said it. I think one thing people may have overlooked with Josh Hart is just the focus, the work ethic. Every time that guy's been in the mud, he's managed to come out. He's managed to come out the other side. And this latest shooting stretch is an example where everyone's kind of counted him out. And it's like a brand new player when he's playing like this. AP says, does anyone know where I can watch the Westchester Knicks game? I say this that I saw last season, but most games are on YouTube, fam. Most games are on YouTube for free. But what you got to do is the stream is unlisted on YouTube. You don't see the show. What you got to do is you got to go to the Westchester Knicks website. You go to the NBA Knicks section of that website. You click on Westchester Knicks, and they give you a link, which takes you directly to the unlisted stream for the Westchester. So Westchester Knicks, definitely fun to look out for as the season goes. Gray says, CT, I would be happy building if we were a young team and just get together. But this is basically a third year of a 5-year plan and lots of young teams coming up. I'm worried. I think our window, is open for a very small period. We do need to take that chance this season, fam, and there will be changes if we don't. And that's why I'm not too worried, because I don't think this is just a one and done thing in terms of our chances of winning a chip, but I do think it's a one and done in terms of this itineration of the squad. What I mean by that is that Leon Rose has built a squad that can be kind of retooled, right? It doesn't need to be rebuilt. It could be retooled, right? Cat's contract, Mitch's situation, Hart's salary, Deuce McBride, there's options as well. And I do think with the age of Mikal Bridges, OG Anunoby, Brunson, all of those guys under 30, it is a lot better than some of these other team situations. Some of these other teams are built to contend right now, but they're a little bit older. Look at the Boston Celtics. They had to let go of Al Horford, Porzingis, Luke Cornett, and they lost a couple of guys. And I do think that the New York Knicks can build another version of a championship contender with Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Hart, OG Anunoby. Cat still fairly young as well, but obviously his salary is a massive piece in terms of getting it, making a major move. Someone would have to go, but look, that's why I bring up the Bucks, fam. Even when Giannis loses one game, you know how angry he gets. Think of Giannis now if the Bucks are 8-12, right? The writing was on the wall, man. Everyone was talking like, oh yeah, the Bucks might have salvaged something. Just because you brought in Miles Turner and brought in Ryan Rollins, who's exceeding expectations, but Cole, what's his name, Cole Anthony. Cole Anthony was a nice little buyout pickup, but that's not turning them into a contender. They lost Chris Middleton, with championship experience. And so, look, it was always a patch job for the Milwaukee Bucks, and I don't see them, getting close, especially with the Heat and, Detroit, the Raptors looking better. Like Gray says, teams are coming, but I think we look at it like this. I'm looking at this season, we're locked in. If we can't win the championship this season, I think there'll be some changes, and we'll kind of retool the roster a little bit. But the fact that everyone's under 30 for the most part, except Josh Hart, I think Cat's just turned 30, so he ain't that over 30. But right now, OG, Mikal, and Jalen Brunson are all under 30. So there is some flexibility in terms of what Leon Rose has been able to do. And he's tried to get guys under contract locked in, while they're under 30. and so that we have a multiple year opportunity to keep going. But yeah, like I said, it's early. I'm not buying the Raptors as a significant contender right now. But look, there's no better opportunity than when you face the team, and we'll know on Sunday night at Madison Square Garden. Emmanuel Quickley, RJ Barrett, Brandon Ingram, Scotty Barnes does like to talk. They're going to come into Madison Square Garden and they're going to feel confident. They're going to try to send a message to say, yeah, catch us if you can. We're second right now. All the talk was about the Knicks being favourites and the Cavaliers. The Raptors have kind of gone under the radar, but it's too early to tell for me. And with the Raptors, they've looked great last season at points. They've looked, they've had flashes, but I don't think, from what I see, I might be wrong, but I don't think they're built to contend this season just yet. And you got to ask yourself, how many challenges have they really faced, right? They haven't even played us yet. If we were the favorites to come out of the East, or at the very least, be one of the favorites to contend, the Raptors haven't even played us yet. So you could say that the Raptors haven't really faced a true test yet. They've just been beaten up on teams like Cleveland did last season, and they ended up getting smoked. Cleveland got smoked in the playoffs last season. Indiana came up like a giant killer. Yeah. AP says, CT, what happened to the 5-0 Bulls? You said it. Everyone looked like a superstar in the first 10 games, fam. Everyone feeling good off a great summer, I'm in shape, I'm feeling good, I'm going to start the season hot. And then you get punched in the mouth, and then they've got nowhere to hide right now. The Hawks are struggling, like Buzzer Beater says, no surprise, too. Yeah, they've got some individual standouts, Jalen Johnson, but Trae Young, I think, is going to get traded. I do think they're going to retool, fam. Now, the Sacramento Kings might be a team that retools as well. I see some people talk about Domantas Sabonis. If he became available, would Mike Brown like to rekindle a partnership with Domantas Sabonis, right? There's talk that Lauri Markkanen is going to be on the move as well. Now, even if it isn't regarding the New York Knicks, someone's going to pick them up. And the East is so wide open. If somebody decent in the East can pick up Sabonis or pick up Lauri Markkanen, that could be enough to shift some of the balance. Right? I'm looking at Cleveland, right? Evan Mobley looks like he's a keeper for them. But Jarrett Allen, man, they can't be over the moon happy with Jarrett Allen right now. So they might look to make a little splash. Maybe Darius Garland gets thrown out there as well. He can't stay healthy. Someone in the East is going to say, you know what? This is too wide open. Let's go for it. Let's make a splash. Right? And I ain't talking about a little ripple. I'm talking about someone's going to go, yep, we need to make a bold move right now because we could genuinely make the finals. If someone good in the East picks up Lauri Markkanen, even if it's Detroit, they could get to the finals. I don't think you would fit on the Raptors. I think they got it's pretty crowded out there. KP's struggling as well, like you said. The Knicks can't stand still. I'm hearing some people say as well. That's why I say watch this space with Yabusele. Teams got to be really happy with what they're seeing with Deuce McBride. And I think there's going to be a lot of teams call up. Maybe about a Josh Hart or a Deuce McBride. I don't think the Knicks would entertain. But it's worth thinking about in terms of like Yabusele. If you can make an upgrade on him, you definitely look at that. Yabusele together with Dardier's salary might be able to get you around the 10 million. We're going to see how Landry Shamet can rehabilitate as well. look, yeah, I think we'll know a lot when it comes to these final games coming up. Well, these games coming up in this new stretch, right? I do think we'll end up winning at least one of the next two out of the Bucks or the Hornets, both at Madison Square Garden, in front of a huge crowd, and that is going to be a network TV, national TV game. But I think our best chance is obviously against the Raptors. I do think the Bucks with Giannis, Madison Square Garden. I think he's definitely going to, play. He's going to play up to the game. But let's see what the Raptors can produce. So hopefully we go 2-2, and then we keep this streak rolling, baby. Because then we roll into the Boston Celtics, TD Garden on Tuesday night, and then we'll end up playing Charlotte at Madison Square Garden, Utah, Orlando, right? So there's a great chance that we are, what would that be? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We could be on an 8-game winning streak or a 7-game winning streak heading into that Orlando game, right? If we do advance to the NBA Cup, the vibes would be a major high at that point. James says, was the officiating bad in this one? I mean, yeah, every game you could pick definitely some bogus calls. I don't feel like it really changed the game too much. But what I hate about the officiating, man, is that they're so inconsistent, man. They'll let a guy absolutely assault you, and then they call a little ticky tack up the other end. Buzzabita says, CT, we don't have any salary cap room, do we? We don't. We don't have any salary cap room, but we can, we can look at swapping the same amount of salary, swapping the same amount. But in terms of a more major move and shedding more major salary, I think that'll be done in the summer, Look, I say that, but just keep an eye out on that Buck situation, man. Giannis doesn't like to waste a year. And if, let's say, it becomes so obvious that the Bucks just can't, do anything, can't make the playoffs, they're stuck at the bottom of the play-in or out of the play-in, it might just fast track what's going to happen. And what that is basically the front office already knows, it's on borrowed time, And if the front office say, you know what, the value is just going to decrease in the summer, let's open the door up for offers right now. Let's see, who offers something, major, to try to contend in this playoff run. So that might happen. It's more doubtful. It's probably more of a summer thing. But if Giannis really, pushes it forward, I could really feel like the Milwaukee Bucks might entertain offers from teams, because Giannis has one more full season under contract, right? But if they traded him this trade deadline, you could sell the bidding teams to say, hey, you only get Giannis for 1.5 seasons, but you get him for 2 postseasons, right? It's better than just 1 postseason. You know what I mean? If they trade Giannis in the summer, the bidding teams only get Giannis for 1 postseason. If they were to get him at the trade deadline, that's 2 postseasons. And so they might just pull the cord. Shez V says Bucks will want the farm for Giannis. Yeah, it'll be best offer available. It's like you're at a flea market. Put in your prices, put in your bids, and the Bucks will just try to get what they can, fam, right now. But remember the other game? I think we had lost to the Magic, and I said, look, Mike Brown is facing his first real bump in the road and test. Well, we're 2-0 since then. 2 bad teams, but if he can come out of this stretch with a couple of really good statement victories over the Bucks and the Raptors, going into a more cushier schedule, then I think he'll have definitely gotten out of this stretch above water. and have weathered the storm, which is, good to see for an early challenge, right? Every year there's teams that over exceed as well, and right now I do think that the Pistons and the Raptors are good teams. I'm not going to say that they're fool's gold, but I'm not ready to say that they're contenders at all. I'm not ready to say that they're a team that can knock us off in the postseason or anything like that, right? It's just way too early to say. I mean, who have the Pistons really faced, fam? They haven't played many teams out west. They're basically just beaten up on a whole lot of bad East teams, and that's okay, right? But they haven't played us yet. The Raptors haven't played us yet. We were supposed to be one of the favorites in the East, so let's see what they're made of when they actually face, a better team. Slow Runner says, all things considered, the Bucks are playing competitive ball without Giannis. Played Miami tough tonight. Yeah, so Giannis has been out. He'll probably return for that big game, man, if he can. But yeah, I think just bigger picture stuff. I just think they're delaying the inevitable. They're delaying the inevitable, man. Yeah, they were never going to be no championship contender this season. The Milwaukee Bucks. And I do think if you're a smart front office, you definitely open the door to a trade in February at the deadline, right? For the simple reason is you might get a higher bid, Teams might start feeling themselves. Like I said, the Raptors, the Pistons, they might think, yeah, you know what, this is a rental, or we'll do our best to convince Giannis that this is the place for you. But guess what? We've got the pieces to contend right now, and that's dangerous. If you could get Giannis halfway through a season and have two years to contend, that's still worth doing it. If assuming you are, outbidding some of these other teams who are hesitant, at the end of the day, someone's going to get him. It might not even be, an offer that people are really thinking about. I do think probably teams out west, like the Rockets, are definitely going to sell the farm to get a Giannis. That'd be a scary look if the Rockets did get Giannis as well, man. If you're the Rockets, you got so many pieces you could offer up. Reed Shepherd, you could offer up Tari Eason. I mean, who else would they throw in that package? I know he's injured right now, but they could put Fred VanVleet in that package. I don't think they move off of Şengün because you do need someone around. You've obviously got Amen Thompson as well. Shares V says that first meeting against Cade is going to be massive. You said it. It is. It's going to be absolutely huge. And I look forward to that. And I can't wait, fam. I'm looking at this East right now. The Knicks move up a spot. We keep winning. We pile the pressure on the Heat and these other guys, right? But we are going to find out a lot more about our team and our depth as we face, some tougher competition, right? As it comes to that. Really looking forward to it. Friday night, Knicks, man. Happy Thanksgiving to everyone out here. Peace, health, happiness, blessings, man. Enjoy tomorrow and tonight. And we'll be back at it Friday night to talk about it as our New York Knicks are on a 2-game winning streak. And the Bucks NBA Cup action, right, with lots at stake in terms of money, spotlight, and momentum as well. I see, Slow Runner talk about Dallas as something to watch. I do think, Anthony Davis, Klay Thompson, man, that's an atomic bomb waiting to be blown up. AP says, CT, if they trade for the Greek, who goes, OG or Cat? Who would you offer? I do think I would offer OG before Cat, but the most likely scenario is that Cat has to go in that kind of deal. There's a big possibility that both of them might need to go in a bigger trade in terms of a 3 or 4 team kind of trade. But yeah, I think Cat and Giannis would be a great combination because Giannis can play 4, and when Cat's on the bench, Giannis can play the 5 as well. But obviously, you could think of defensively. If you have OG on the squad still with Giannis, then you're an even stronger defensive team. I'm just a little bit worried about OG's durability, man. I'm not going to lie. OG's durability, does concern me. As OG gets closer to 30, these hamstrings, that's 3 years in a row he's had a hamstring injury. Could this be an opportunity to sell high on a guy like OG? You get Giannis in, who's just as good of a defender as he is. So yeah, it's interesting. The way Mikal Bridges is playing and the chemistry, I can't see Bridges being in a package. So you're on the right track, AP. I do think it's OG and Cat, or OG or Cat and other pieces. And you just got to do it. I hate to see any of the current Knicks go, but it's an upgrade. Giannis is one of the best players in the game, and you got to take that chance, because look at this standing. Anyone who's worried this season, man, you're only going to get more worried next season and the season after that, because the odds are going to decrease. The chances of the Knicks breaking their championship drought are going to decrease if they stand pat, because the other teams are going to come up. These other teams are going to improve, and the East can't stay this weak for that long. Look at the logjam out west. Some of those players are probably going to, move across. I mentioned Larry Markkanen. I mentioned Sabonis. They're probably 2 pieces from bad teams in the West that are going to, maybe make a trade with someone out east. Pat Riley, he's always sniffing around. You got the Miami Heat, who the Miami Heat look like they're actually, a chance to make some noise. So maybe Pat Riley says, let's go for it, fam. Tyler Hero and someone else, and bring someone else in. I would not be shocked. Would not be shocked if Miami Heat, Pat Riley make a splash. I think the Raptors already made their splash with Brandon Ingram, but I could be wrong. Off-season there was some buzz about RJ Barrett being traded, but RJ Barrett's having a good season right now. The Pistons, I could see the Pistons making a splash, because Tobias Harris, his movable salary, he ain't sticking around for the long term, is Tobias Harris. B. Stu is a guy that you could get some good value for right now. Jaden Ivey is surplus, I think, to Osar Thompson, Cade Cunningham backcourt. The Pistons have got some, they've got Karis LeVert as well. They've got some movable pieces, so I'd keep my eye out on them. Orlando, I think, will be sniffing around a major move as well. The Hawks, I think, will blow things up a little bit. I think Trae Young, might be on the out. And of course, Philly with Embiid. You've got Embiid and you've got PG. We'll wait to see what happens with that. Chicago Bulls are a couple of years away. And yeah, man, it's getting real spicy. I'm really locked into this season so far. The Knicks haven't peaked yet, but it's still early. And I do think some of these teams might have peaked too soon, right? We'll find out on the next episode. Appreciate everyone. Blessings up. Happy Thanksgiving. And we'll see you